Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 2 of Factorio, Bob's Angels. Yeah, I know it's a bit of a crap title, but until I come up with something else or it sticks, yeah, it's just going to stay the same. But yeah, we start off dismantling the burner stereotype area because it's just not needed anymore. We can now craft electronic crushing machines, so we start crafting some of those to replace the coal ones. We also place some inserters where I missed before, because quite often I run out of things, start crafting them, get distracted and build something else and forget to place what I was actually crafting those items for. I've got to apologise for the errors, they're coming back with aggression. I'm working as hard as I can to not do it. It's a bit difficult, but it'll improve over time, and there's always editing, so who knows how many will actually make it through to the final cut. But we extend the stereotype. I don't even know if I'm getting the names right. I can't remember the names of all yours, to be honest. I just go by the colour, the dark blue one. We expand the crushing for that, so we've got enough. We also get some bobmonium. Bobmonium? Yeah, bobmonium crushing going on, because we need some tin. Because I'm starting to work towards getting the next level of circuits. So we've got the basic circuits, and I can't remember what the blue ones are called either, but you know what I mean, the next circuits, because it's nice to have a little area producing those. We also expand the Givolite mining area. And yeah, I put a radar down, because I hadn't done that last episode. We got RSO radar, so that's going to use, I think it's 4 times the amount of energy, but it's going to cover 4 times the amount of area. And we also set up some stuff in the research queue. And we also look at getting some rubite crushing done for the lead, because we need lead for the next level of circuit. I love the clearing of trees at this speed. It's so much more satisfying than when you're actually playing it. And that'll be a bit of a theme for this episode, clearing trees, because I get a bit carried away in a bit. But at this speed, it's not too bad. And talking about the speed, the last episode was done at 500%, so 5 times the speed, but I think that was a bit too fast, so we're trying out 4 times speed here, so if it's too fast or too slow, you know, feel free to share your preference, if there is one. I personally think this speed's probably most ideal. It's quick enough that it's not too boring, but not so slow that it's boring. Does that make sense? It's quick enough that it's interesting, but not so slow that it's boring. Yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. We also get some iron production going, because I'm going to need some iron for some armour. Because one thing I realised towards the end of this episode is, yeah, I'm probably going to run out of resources to be able to clear any biters to get more resources. I realised this last night. I might be screwed on that front, so we'll see how far the series actually gets. And yeah, we start continuing to expand this area to build the necessary items to essentially build the factory. This is what this area is. And now I start to get a bit lost in the research queue. Can't remember exactly what I was looking for. It's the metal mixing furnace. I started to get really frustrated with this. I just couldn't find it. I've got the ability to make solder, but I thought you would have already had to have researched the metal mixing furnace to have that ability. And yeah, I started to get a bit, you know. But partly my confusion was I didn't know what I was looking for. I mean, I know now because I know I find it, but yeah, I started to get a bit pissed off with the research queue here. I eventually find it, we get it on the go, and while we're waiting for that, we expand the research a little bit more just to try and match the production of red science. I don't know what the ratio is off the top of my head, just as long as we're researching relatively quick enough, I'm happy. I'm only going to bother about ratios when we start to build the actual factory. This is, like I say, this is just a preliminary base. I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me, I'll edit that bit out. But yeah, placing some more electronic crushers. And still trying to work out what we're doing with this area, because I always get confused at this bit, I don't know why. I did a playthrough of this about a month ago and did exactly the same thing. I also noticed we're using more coal than we're mining for the power, so I expand that a little bit. Maybe I finally get my precious metal mixing furnace to make some solder plate, and then in turn combine that with the resin to create solder, funnily enough. Which is one of the steps needed to sort of semi-automate the production of these more advanced circuits. I think they're advanced circuits. Never actually looked at the name, but yeah. It's the level 2 ones. It's sort of like, I believe they're in between Vanilla's green and red. Bob's adds a lot more layers to the game, which I personally like very much. We also need some water to produce carbon, which is needed for the electronic components. Yay for me if I got that right. But yeah, when you play this a lot and you don't actually vocalize a lot of the items in the game, I'm suddenly finding it really difficult to actually vocalize them in these post commentaries. It's a bit weird. Never foresaw this as a problem, so bear with me. And now I get really confused with where to place this. First, I think it's to do with the solder. I'm sort of in auto mode, you know, I'm not really thinking what I'm doing, I'm just building out. And then I realise I've already done the electronic components, and yeah, I then start trying to place that. I'm like, ah, wait a minute, I've already got the assembler placed out for the electronic components, and this is what the carbon's for. It's not for that step. So we place this out, get a little buffer going, and then we place where we actually need it, or at least we do in a minute. I think. Am I still a bit confused? Yeah, my past self and present self, yeah, we're essentially two different entities as far as this recording goes, so don't always know what I'm thinking. But yeah, there we go. We get the assembler for the advanced circuit setup. It needed the level 2 assembler to produce them, hence that little pause. I think we had to research being able to actually build them. So start taking a look at the map to decide where I'm going to actually build the main factory, because this is my biggest gripe. This is the thing I deliberate over the longest, is where I'm going to start building the main factory. Because if I do it in the wrong direction or in the wrong place, it's going to clash with something, or it's not going to fit, and I'm going to have to rebuild loads of stuff. So at the moment it looks like there's loads of space, so I decide, screw it, let's go right where the bloody forest is below us, and I start mining trees, you know. And this bit sounds really cool sped up, along with that weird music. It's amazing how speeding up the game changes the tone of some of the background music. It suddenly becomes quite therapeutic and rhythmic to a bit creepy and a bit weird. Start to build some termite nanobots for clearing trees. But yeah, I decide I'm going to manually feed this with the basic circuits to begin with. Put the buffer there, makes a bit more sense. But later on I think I get a bit annoyed with that and I automate that as well, and I just have to feed that wood. I also realised there's a bit of crushed stone getting through, and the reason why is that assembler doesn't have any inserters feeding it, so yeah, it was a bit of a dirt move. We also start getting close to running out of power, and there's the first use of the nanobots clearing trees, which at this speed sounds really creepy. I also cock up the placing of the power. I put it right next to the transport belt, not one step away for the inserters, which I also realise I have not got enough of. In fact, I don't think I've got any. And because I built loads of nanobots and stuff, I have to start managing what I'm crafting, which shouldn't be too much of a problem once we have the crafting speed upgrades done. But at the moment, even that seemed like a long time in this sped up 4 times speed. But yeah, we start producing some more nanobots to start trying to clear this. And there on the map, you can spot the first, don't know what to call them really, hives, bases, tents. Who called them tent? I think that was in Massa, yeah, someone called them tents or something, but yeah. You know what I mean. But yeah, sounds really weird at this kind of speed. Kind of creepy. Love it. But yeah, chopping trees at this speed, always a pleasure. It's far more frustrating at normal speed. At this speed it seems great. You know, this forest wouldn't be here for long. It's considering chopping the whole thing down and maybe going to like 6, 7 speed, but yeah, I don't think I had the patience for it. But yeah, we're gonna have to keep manually feeding a lot of this, but it's just until the main factory gets going. Another weird thing, another weird sound with it sped up like this, the radars. It sounds bizarre. So we start building the items needed for the more advanced ore sorting. Still haven't decided where I'm going to put it. I think I'm going to be deliberating this for quite a bit. I do sort of decide at the end of this, but I think I'm going to continue to deliberate it more. To be honest, I don't even think I've decided still, because it's, you get it wrong, there's a lot of rework you have to do. So I really want to get that direction right, so that the main bus doesn't grow into where the enemy bases are, or it doesn't grow into another resource. I don't know. It needs to be right, and it's better to space things out too far than too close, because it's easy for it to be too far, because it's just going to work anyway. You don't have to move anything. If it's too close, you have to start rebuilding loads of stuff. So I think at the moment I'm contemplating doing it to the south, and then I change my mind later on. But we just decide, this is where we decide to automate the basic circuits, expand the research even more. Probably because I was getting impatient, I don't know. But yeah, we get some copper wire being produced. Carry that across. I'm not really worried about the ratios here or the efficiency, just so long as it's producing some. All I worried about, so that's why I'm only using one wire assembler. But yeah, we get some basic circuit boards automated there, because I get sick of making them manually, basically. And we're just collecting the bits and bobs to start at least producing a blueprint for this ore sorting area. And I start building it in a weird order. I start with the middle, get a bit pissed off, start again. I don't know why I build these things in such a weird order sometimes, but you know, it works. That's the messiest bit of the build, having it laid out in that weird way, you know. But I like it, it's cool. And I also like to have buffers on every stage of these. So this is the buffer for any crushed ore and the crushed stone, which will then get fed out where it can get turned into stone. And then I take a look, and this is where I start to copy it out, lay it out as though this is where I was going to have it. And yeah, to begin with, I try and make it work. We want 4 to begin with, but then there's going to be more as the more advanced ore sorting comes along in Angels. To be honest, I just don't like it. I've got a copy of it, so at least I have the layout set out now, so I can go and try and place this anywhere fairly quickly without any hassle. And I just can't decide, because as you can see on the radar, we're starting to find all the enemy bases around us. And we're discovering the beautiful death world that I decided to choose for myself. Which I have a feeling is inevitably going to end up with me running out of resources, trying to push them back to get more resources. Because that stereotype patch isn't exactly very big. So yeah, I'm going to have to work out what I'm going to do there. But we'll see, we'll see. We start to do the finer bits of the layout so that these are all fed with loaders. An extremely expensive layout, I'll admit. But it looks nice. Well, not that curvy bit. As you can see, I dismantle that, start again, because I don't like that curvy bit. There must be straight lines or right angle corners. Yeah, I'm a bit Nazi when it comes to my layouts. And there go the nanobots with placing stuff. That part of it I think is extremely lazy. The tree clearing, yeah, that can be justified. Having it build stuff for you, yeah. Might be a bit of a waste of resource, but I don't know. Going to be handy later on when we've got loads of stuff to place. But as soon as we're on robots, no more nanobots, I think. So we start to steal some... It is... Oh, I'm going to be so annoyed if I get this wrong. I'm pretty sure it's Stirotite. Juvolite's the yellow one. But we start to steal most of the mining there and carry on feeding the small base with a little bit. It's not going to be enough to keep that going, but we're going to start to get a lot of iron and copper ore from this. And we get that nicely lined up with the other warehouse to store the ore. And that'll then feed on to where I decide to have the smelting area, which needs to be perpendicular to the bus so that you can expand it, which we shall be doing in the next episode. But I do hope you have enjoyed watching. This is all we've got time for, but yeah, please do come and join me in the next episode. Bye bye.